Hello everybody, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John. Today we continue in the theme of what if superheroes were in our world, realistically, with Unbreakable by M. Night Shyamalan. And yeah, this movie's old by this point, let's be real. But how did you get introduced to Unbreakable since it's such a unique superhero movie?
I mean, like back in the day, I would see it like from time to time in like Star movies or HBO. But that was a thing. Like I didn't know it was a superhero movie
Yeah.
because the guy didn't look like a superhero at all. This is like the entire take of like Unbreakable, or like the Unbreakable universe, is that these are if superheroes were real and they're very discreet about it,
Yeah.
this is how they would be.
Yeah.
And like I didn't really take it seriously until like Split came out, and then they're like, "Hey, Unbreakable and Split are in the same universe." I was like, "Why?" I was like, "What? Why does it have to be like a cinematic universe? I'll check it out."
Yeah.
I did, and I was like, "Oh, that's why."
Yeah.
And I love that entire concept. Great job on M. Night Shyamalan. Like, I love the entire concept of that maybe some mental illness or certain like
Yeah.
like they're very subtle. Like these superpowers are very subtle,
Yeah.
but like they're still superpowers.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah, I got introduced to this by Chris Stuckman because he did a video on it, and I'm like, huh, it's on Netflix right now. I probably should check it out, and I did, and I really like this. Like this, if I'm being honest, this is my favorite one from M Night because it's just so, it's just such a unique take. Like, Mr. Glass, Elijah Price, played by Samuel L. Jackson, is like maybe you are something more because you've never been sick, to David Dunn, who is played by Bruce Willis. And like at the beginning you're just like, what is this movie? Because you're like, oh, he's trying to flirt with someone and he's already married, and like the train is going super duper fast for some reason. What's happening? And then as the movie progresses, you're like, you start thinking like Elijah and what's the name of David's son? Jack? Yeah, his son being like, maybe you are more because you've never had a sick day, even though you're like,
That scene was so stupid to me, in my opinion.
but yeah, you're like, even you are like, have I never had a sick day myself? If so, maybe I should be a superhero, you know?
No, I had sick days.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck am I talking about? Of course I have. But like, it's just such a what do you call it? Subtle. Subtlety is the key word in this movie. There's not like, it's not like other superhero movies where I think it was Jeremy Johns who said it best, where he quoted someone saying like, David Dunn is Superman if Superman didn't know he was Superman. He just went through life being like, that's weird. I don't get hurt. I don't get sick. I have other things that may not be normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I do love it when they're like, have I ever had a fever or a cold or anything? Like, have you ever seen me?
Yeah.
And I was just like, that is something you cannot like just be like, yeah, you have never, because you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
And like, okay, not gonna lie, I was thinking to myself though, I was just like, if I was David Dunn and I had these superpowers, and they confirmed that there was no triggering event, he was just born this way,
Yeah.
like, I think I would know that I would have not gotten sick or had a cold or a fever,
Yeah.
because at that point I don't know what a cold or a fever is like.
Right.
So I was like, shouldn't you know?
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, it's when your temperature rises and you're like, but I've just been fine my whole life. What does that mean? And like, it's subtlety too, because if you don't know what this is about, you're like, that's odd. David Dunn is strong as hell, while Elijah shatters like glass, and you're not really making the connection until it gets said right in your face, and you're like, by the end, and you're like, what the fuck? How come I didn't pick up on that?
Yeah, and like Yeah, like all throughout the movie, it's just. I'm not gonna lie. If I ever met like a character like Elijah,
Yeah.
uh, I would have been like, man, shut the hell up, go away from me.
Yeah. Especially when you go to my wife, you're like, can you please get the fuck out of my life, sir?
Yeah. Like my final straw was like his phone call
Hmm?
was put on like voice like the voice message,
Yeah.
and it was just like I was reading this comic on this issue where he fights the Department of Evil, and if that was me, I immediately been like, "Doot." And I just walked away and went on with my life.
Right? But yeah, he gives his son so much, I would say, the Lulu, that he points a gun at him, and you're like, what if he's not though? What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong, you stupid idiot? And it takes David to be like, fine, shoot me. But if it will ricochet, but when it does, I will leave. I'm done.
I will leave you.
Yeah.
I do like that dialogue though.
Yeah.
And like I love how like when they took the gun away, everybody's just like
Ah! Like poor Robin Wright just like, oh fuck. Oh Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. And you find out that David was in an accident, and you're like, that derails the whole story. But you see in flashbacks, like, but he's not hurt. Robin Wright, well, her character is barely hanging on, but he's fine. And it starts
Yeah.
puzzling you, and you're kind of like, this is kind of like a superhero movie. Huh. And like,
yeah.
the other powers that he can see, either what has happened, what is happening, which is what? No, but yeah, like when he goes to the train station and like he sees people stealing jewelry, committing hate crimes, doing other heinous acts, and you're like, oh, it has happened. Okay,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do about that. But when he gets bumped by that one guy where he's keeping hostages, you're like, oh, okay, I get how it works. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Again, I love how subtle this is. There is no. Well, they do it in Glass, where they do have like a big superhero versus supervillain fight,
yeah,
and it's still subtle there though. But like here, it's very subtle,
yeah,
where he just tries it out. He was like, you know, I'm gonna try being a vigilante and seeing like what I can do.
yeah,
And he looks for the house. He tails the janitor who's a serial killer,
yeah.
and he saves the remaining family members.
Yeah,
in that house.
I do respect that ending when he's like, all right, my job's done, and he frees that one lady, and you're like, and she's dead. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, and she's like, I was like, oh well, I guess you were too late. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, and I love how it's not even like
Yeah,
cinematic. Like he just chokes the guy out, and like it's like a very rough,
yeah,
like like a UFC match.
Yeah.
He just like chokes him out, and the guy
Yeah.
goes unconscious.
yeah.
And
Also, his kryptonite is drowning water, and you're like, huh. I mean, it's not like he drinks water and he's like, oh. But like if he drowns, he's done for.
I remember I had a conversation with somebody talking about this movie, where I was like, "Oh, I love this movie." And it's like pretty good.
Yeah,
And they're like, "Oh, his power's so stupid. He drowns in water." I was like, "Fucker, shut the hell up. Your favorite character's Wolverine."
right,
So I was like, they have the exact same fucking weakness.
right. And like by the end, you're like, I guess the twist for this M. Night Shyamalan movie is that he has powers, even though he's doubted
Yeah.
himself. And then you get to the end, and he shakes.
I
Like-
think there's I don't think that was the twist. The twist is
Yeah, I mean, the first time watching it, I'm like, I guess the twist is he is a hero, huh?
yeah.
And then you see what Elijah has done, and you're like, oh my, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Because to Elijah, it's just intuition. Like he thinks that he just has really good intuition. But for David Dunn, it's a full-on image, where he was like, "Oh, I've committed different acts of terrorism."
And like, I do love the closing of like, in a comic, do you know how you can tell who the villain hero is? They're the exact opposites, and you're like, yeah. And then the ending is quite the definition of anticlimactic, because you're like, why is this a freeze frame? What the fuck?
Look at it ends as if it was like based on a true story.
Yeah.
Or he was like, David Dunn contacted the authorities. Elijah has been like put in an insane asylum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I love this movie, but I hate the ending. I was like, that's just stupid. I'm like,
Yeah.
based on a true story. Sure. Yeah, right. Sure.
Yeah. I don't know how it was gonna end though. Like this is. It's very anticlimactic, and it's not what we wanted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, in that situation itself, like, how would have you seen this ending? Like, David Dunn's just like, oh my god, you committed acts of terrorism. Like, that's it.
Right? I mean, that does happen in the last movie, if we're being honest. But before we get to that, we'll get to that maybe someday in the future. But yeah,
I'd love to do Split. Like, I do like Split, even though it's a bit weird.
yeah. And we'll have fun with Gus, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, what would you rate Unbreakable?
I'll rate Unbreakable an 8 out of 10. Like, it is a very good movie. Sadly, I can't give it a score higher because of that ending.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I love the subtleties. I love, like, that again, if superheroes were real and they really didn't notice that they were superheroes, this is how it usually goes.
Yeah.
Until some deranged dude who has a comic book addiction, it's just like, you're a superhero, you know, Excelsior, and then
Yeah.
you just. But other than that, it's slow. I will say it's not a superhero movie as in like there's action everywhere. This is a very slow. At some points, it even felt like Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
So, like.
Yeah.
So like, if you're into like just a deep dive of like different outlooks of what a genre can be,
Yeah.
you might like this movie. But if you're very like, oh, I like superhero movies because they're action packed and they're very fast paced and very witty and funny, this is not the movie for you.
Yeah.
But other than that, I do like this movie.
Yeah, I'll give this an 8 out of 10 as well. The performances are great. They're pretty good. It's just the ending that bothers me to this day. I'm like, come on. It's like as if I'm like giving my score and then you know, and then we
Yeah.
just go to end credits.
I was like, really, you could have you didn't like, oh, I put a bomb around the entire exhibit and
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow everybody up because I'm the villain. I am your nemesis.
Right? Predict this, bitch. But no.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty underrated yet pretty good movie, I would say. I do really like this. Again, except for the ending. But yeah, to the audience watching, what's your favorite movie from M. Night Shyamalan? Either The Sixth Sense, or this one, or whatever else he's made. Even though some of them are guilty pleasures, like maybe one day we'll do The Happening.
I'm so down for that. What was the name of that one movie? Where they're like, it's like an Amish.
Fuck,
village.
I hated that
And then-
so much.
And then like they find out, like the monster is just the weirdo of the town, and then like it's a road, and it's like the 21st century.
I fucking hated it so much, but I would love to do that as well. I think Joaquin Phoenix. No, that's Science. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Oh,
Alright.
okay, right.
Yeah.
Wait, did you see the scene where when it's Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson like putting up the boards on the door, and Joaquin Phoenix like missing the nail so many times? Like if ever we watch like Signs,
Yeah.
just look out for that scene where they start boarding up the doors.
Joaquin Phoenix is like, I'm an actor, not a carpenter. Damn it. But yeah, that's been our video for Unbreakable. If you like our videos, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see your best and funniest moments. Spotify to hear us on the go. In the video, I'm Andrew on Letterboxd and Zoda's Voices on TikTok. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me at JomJM_ on Instagram, and this is my account.
And until the next one, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.